welcome to the SQL tutorial with me, James from Matador Software, and today I wanted to look at an interview question that's reportedly been asked by FAANG companies, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix or Google as part of their data interviews. And I also wanted to show the methodology that I may use to come up with a solution for this. So it's quite an unusual question, but it forces you to nail some basic concepts. So write a SQL query that prints a below star pattern with the use of declared variables only. So we can't use table data where we might just be able to use a system function. The first thing to note, we have 10 lines of stars that increase by 1 on each line. So in order to get that iterative approach, we're likely going to have to use a loop. That's the first point. We'll need to use variables. So we'll probably need some sort of integer foundation that increases by 1. And then we're going to need to look at some form of system function that is going to allow us to take those asterisks, so take a character and repeat it a set number of times within our loop and meeting the criteria where it cuts off when we have 10 lines. So let's look at how we could do that. So just put some comments along the way, as you don't need to replicate my data. You can see the output here as well, it's worth noting. You can just follow along if you like. So we need to use variables. So we'll initially need to declare a variable, and we'll need to use a while loop so that we can get that iterative approach where we increase the stars by line and we introduce a condition. So we will first declare a variable. You can call this whatever you like. We will start off by calling this potentially just counter, because we'll actually use this to control the number of stars that we print to our query results. And we'll just declare this as an integer data type, and we can use int. So first of all, we'll select that counter and we can just set this to 1 because that's the initial value that we require. And now we're going forward to setting up a while loop. So basically we can loop through, use an iterative approach, but we have a condition here. So the outside of while loop has a condition, so where that integer is less than or equal to 10. And within the body of the while loop, we'll have a begin and end block so that we can segregate the logical code and we can execute what we specify in here whilst it meets that condition, while the counter is less than or equal to 10. Now, we also need to print, so we can just use print to get this into our query results, and we'll use the replicate function, which repeats a string a certain amount of times. So we can specify that asterisk, and this is where we can sort of piece things together. We use that counter to repeat the string the specified number of times. So that can control how often we print that asterisk, so that we begin at 1 and we basically execute this continuously on a new line until we are at that 10th line of the stars. And here we go, we set that counter at the end of this process to evaluate to 1 more line, so plus 1. So it increases the integer right up until we are less than or equal to 10. So that's the explanation. We can execute this now and see if it produces the correct result. And there we have it. You can see through using a loop, we get 10 lines. The stars increase, and we basically keep evaluating that until we meet that condition where it cuts off at less than or equal to the 10th number, 10 integer number. So you can feel free to copy this and follow along, try it yourself, and as usual, like, comment, subscribe and share. Thank you.